point them out and identify them in the courtroom as to who you're referring to that made some comments to you.
Said I work for the white man. And I was a sellout.
What did you take that to mean?
The theory that he got X whatever, and that there's a bar in that album, you know, take a 20, break it to a 10, take that 10, and so that, and you know, if he would have held his tongue on that live, he'd be alive, you know. Oh my god, bro.
Prior to him being, he had posted on Instagram, if anybody me, I'm snitching right now, it's champagne popping. I'm paraphrasing, but something to that effect, right?
Y'all, the streets are buzzing, and this one's wild. XXXTentacion just dropped a bombshell in a shocking confession, claiming that none other than Drake was behind it all, allegedly paying him millions to carry out the hit. Drake is now being dragged into one of the darkest sagas in hip-hop. But is there more to this story than meets the eye? Buckle up, because this revelation is about to turn the entire industry upside down. On November 29th, Dedrick Williams' attorney, Mauricio Padilla, appeared on the Law and Crime Network and dropped some serious tea. According to Padilla, during the trial for XXXTentacion's evidence linking Drake to the case wasn't even allowed in court. That's right, the jury never got to hear any of it.
Which I argued was inappropriate because at the end of the day, you're ordering me to give the state a blueprint of what my defense is going to be. But I was ordered to do it, and I did it.
Padilla explained that back in December 2020, he filed a witness list that included several high-profile rappers tied to the victim, XXXTentacion. This list wasn't random, though. It was based on X's own words. Just before his death, X had posted an eerie message on Instagram saying, "If anybody kills me, I'm snitching right now. It's champagne poppy." While Padilla clarified he's not accusing Drake of pulling the trigger. He argued that the trial was unfair because this crucial piece of evidence was kept under wraps.
That the reason that she wanted security with Mr. Onfroy on the day that he was shot was because of the issues that he had with Drake and Migos.
But that's not all. Padilla revealed that X had public feuds with not just Drake, but other rappers affiliated with OVO, Drake's label. According to X's mother, she was well aware of these tensions. So was this more than just rap beef? And why wasn't this information allowed to be presented to the jury? Padilla isn't claiming Drake orchestrated the outright, but he insists that his client, Dedrick Williams, deserved the chance to present this evidence as part of his defense. Here's where it gets interesting. Padilla argued that the court essentially struck down his entire witness list without properly reviewing it. He pointed out that the legal system is supposed to allow a defendant to explore reasonable doubt wherever it may lead.
I laid out in extreme detail all of my defense witnesses list, which included many rappers, because at the end of the day, the victim in this case was a rapper. He had feuds, ongoing public feuds with not only Drake, but a lot of rappers that are either signed to OVO.
The question is, why was this angle dismissed so quickly? Padilla's comments suggest there was more than enough evidence to create an alternate shooter defense or point the finger at someone else entirely. Could this have swayed the jury's decision? To make things worse, Padilla emphasized that X's own mother believed the beef between her son and Drake was significant. And when you add that to the chilling Instagram post X made before his death, it paints a picture that can't be ignored.
Let's just take it. So, okay, fine. I set a notice of hearing, went and served Drake in his castle in Beverly Hills.
There's something that you mentioned, and I want to talk about this. So first of all, there was this deposition that was taken of XXXTentacion's mother, Cleopatra Bernard. She testified that Onfroy had this ongoing feud with Mr. Graham, Aubrey Graham, Drake. She said this feud with Graham included throwing shots at Onfroy and lyrics from one of Graham's songs. You mentioned that controversial.
Let's break down X's infamous Instagram post, because it's haunting, to say the least. Before his tragic XXXTentacion publicly called out Drake, warning that if anything happened to him, everyone should look in Drake's direction. This wasn't a vague or cryptic message, it was straight up naming names. This post, coupled with the fact that X and Drake were known to have beef, raises eyebrows. X had previously accused Drake of stealing his flow, and the tension only grew from there. The post almost feels like a desperate attempt to leave behind a trail, just in case something happened to him. And yet this critical piece of evidence never made it to court. Now, here's where the story takes an even wilder turn. Back in February, Dedrick Williams' attorney, Mauricio Padilla, made a bold move by trying to subpoena Drake, demanding he sit for a deposition regarding XXXTentacion's trial. Why? Because of X's infamous social media post, where he suggested that if anything happened to him, Drake might be behind it.
Let's just take it. So, okay, fine. I set a notice of hearing, went and served served Drake in his castle in Beverly Hills.
Initially, Padilla claimed Drake had been properly served but failed to show up for the deposition at the end of January. As a result, Padilla filed an order to show cause, and the judge actually granted it. On February 9th, the court ordered that if Drake didn't show up for a deposition scheduled for February 24th, he would have to appear in court on February 27th to explain himself or risk being held in contempt. But that's not all. While fans were buzzing over the possibility of seeing Drake grilled in court, his legal team was quick to fire back. Drake's lawyers weren't having it. In new court filings obtained by Rolling Stone, they argued that the subpoena wasn't properly served in the first place. They claimed Padilla didn't follow proper legal procedures and that Drake wasn't legally obligated to comply. But here's the kicker. Drake's team didn't stop there. They called out the subpoena as unreasonable and oppressive, saying it placed an unnecessary burden on the rapper. Essentially, they argued that Padilla's claims about Drake's alleged involvement in X's were nothing more than speculation and had no basis in fact. Now, this raises even more questions. If Drake truly had no connection to the case, why fight the subpoena so hard? Was it purely about protecting his time and reputation? Or was there something he didn't want to be asked under oath? Despite Padilla's efforts, the deposition never happened, leaving many to wonder what could have been uncovered. For fans of XXXTentacion, this felt like a missed opportunity to dig deeper into the rapper's chilling claims and explore potential connections. But for Drake's team, it was a strategic win, ensuring their client stayed out of the courtroom drama. Still, the lingering suspicion around X's social media post and the legal back and forth has only added fuel to the fire. Now this is where things get even murkier. Why would Drake's name even be in the mix when it comes to XXXTentacion's death? What reasons would he allegedly have to pay millions to have X taken out? To get to the bottom of this, we need to rewind and dive into the highly publicized beef between these two artists.
If Drake is responsible, or if this man is like what do you call it, a publicity stunt genius, right? So like he did so much.
And let me tell you, it wasn't just petty industry drama. It was personal, heated, and very public. It all began in March 2017 when Drake dropped his album More Life, which included the track KMT featuring UK rapper Giggs. Almost immediately, fans couldn't help but notice how similar the flow on KMT was to XXXTentacion's breakout single Look at Me, a song that had skyrocketed X to fame.
I would have done it because I know I can maintain. You know what I'm saying? And I would appreciate him for being a Drake, not a.
So, anything now, like moving forward, it happened. You can't take it back.
I'm gonna make the world hate me. I'm gonna be that. I'm gonna be the supervillain.
And X wasn't about to let it slide. He accused Drake of stealing his flow, calling him out on social media and during interviews. But here's the thing, X didn't just stop at saying Drake copied him. He took it further, branding Drake a B for what he called taking his ish. To make things worse, fans fanned the flames of this feud by pointing out the undeniable similarities between the two songs, sparking one of the most heated beefs in modern hip-hop history. XXXTentacion didn't hold back when he got the chance to speak on it. Following his release from jail on March 27, 2017, X let loose during an interview on The Breakfast Club. And let me tell you, he didn't mince words.
Especially when I was in jail facing life, bro, you know what I'm saying? If Drake would have came to my barn hearing, you know what I'm saying, that would have made my day. If he would have showed that he's a hospitable person and that he's really in this for the culture, rather than being taking my running off with it and then putting it on his album.
But that's not all. X even went on to say that he would have let Drake hop on the remix and take all the royalties if he'd just been upfront about it. Despite all the drama, X admitted he respected Drake's career, even calling him the GOAT. But respect as a man, X made it clear that wasn't happening. Well, if you thought that was it, think again. X wasn't done. During an Instagram Live, he delivered another jab at Drake, ominously joking, "Yo, somebody gonna shoot me?" Fans didn't know how to take this at the time, but in hindsight, those words hit differently after X's tragic. It left many wondering if X had a sense of what was coming, or if he was trying to send a message about the beef escalating beyond just words and tracks. This feud wasn't just a war of words, it was personal. Now, while XXXTentacion was vocal about their feud, Drake took a much quieter approach, at least on the surface. For the most part, Drizzy refused to publicly acknowledge X's claims of stealing his flow, but when he did address it, he strongly denied the accusations.
So I'm just like, yo, what's happening to me right now, you know? So I'm sitting there, I'm trying to read, like, figure out who they're talking about. I find out who they're talking about.
Is this the extension guy?
I don't even think that's how you say his name. But yeah, that's it.
In a 2017 interview with DJ Semtex, Drake explained, "I listened and I'm like, okay, I see where people could draw this comparison off of the first two lines, whether it be cadence or the rhyme pattern or whatever. It's crazy that people think that after all this time, after all I've been through, that I'm the type of person to go and take that and make it my own." At the time, this seemed like a dismissal of the whole situation, but fans weren't buying it. And to make things worse, Drake's lyrics in the years following XXXTentacion's have sparked even more speculation that their beef went far deeper than just stolen flows. Just 3 weeks before X's fatal shooting, Drake dropped his 2018 album Scorpion, featuring the song I'm Upset. The lyrics? Well, they raised a lot of eyebrows. Drake raps, "End up getting loose and getting pictures from my ex, SMS XXX. That's the only time I ever below the neck." Fans quickly connected the dots. SMS could stand for short message service, XXX could be a nod to XXXTentacion, and the line about shooting below the neck? Chilling, considering X was shot in the neck. But that's not all. Drake opens the track with 50,000 on my head, it's disrespect, which many believe references the $50,000 cash withdrawal X made right before his. Coincidence? The internet didn't think so. Fast forward to 2022, and Drake was still dropping cryptic bars that had fans buzzing. On BS from his collab album Her Loss with 21 Savage, he raps, "Maybe I should do a 20, maybe I should break that 20, do a 10, maybe I should break that 10, do a 5, then if it gets live, do a 5 again. If he held his tongue on that live, he'd be alive again, damn." Now this one had fans pulling out calculators and conspiracy theories. The sum of break that 20 adds up to 30, which in Roman numerals is 30, one of X's nicknames. And that line about if he held his tongue on that live, many interpreted it as a direct reference to XXXTentacion's Instagram live disses against Drake. These lyrics, subtle as they might seem, have kept the rumors alive and thriving. They've made fans wonder, is Drake using his music to taunt X posthumously, or is it all just a coincidence? As if all that wasn't bad enough, court documents from December revealed even more shocking details about the feud between XXXTentacion and Drake. According to the filing, X didn't just accuse Drake of stealing his flow, he went all in, relentlessly taunting him on social media. The filing stated that X made disparaging remarks about Drake's mother, and even posted a photo of a Drake lookalike with what was described as semen on his face. Talk about taking things to a whole new level of disrespect. But here's where it gets even darker. The court filing also alleged that Drake has ties to gang-related activities. Specifically, it pointed to Somali-Canadian rapper Hassan Ali, who is suspected to be a member of the Jungle Blood street gang. Ali himself didn't shy away from these allegations. In an interview with academics, he claimed, "I'm Drake's shooter," a statement that sent shockwaves through fans and skeptics alike.
And then now it's a love right now. It's like, I'm a shooter, basically.
Yeah. So you the
I'm
streets.
Drake's shooter.
You're the streets.
Yeah, I'm Drake's shooter.
Oh,
I'm not lying to you. Anybody disrespect Drake, I'm shooting.
Damn.
Another shocking layer has emerged that could potentially link Drake even closer to XXXTentacion's tragic death. Attorney Mauricio Padilla sought to call Jesse De La Cruz, whose research allegedly uncovered visual evidence tying Drake to the same organization as Robert Allen, one of the convicted accomplices in X's.
And the defense, my understanding, wanted to call Jesse De La Cruz, who they had claimed, discovered visual evidence that Drake could have had ties to the same organization as a co-defendant in this case, Robert Allen.
According to the brief, De La Cruz's research revealed photos of Drake throwing the same gang signs as Allen. And let's not forget, Allen is the very accomplice who testified against his co-defendants in this case. The connections don't stop there. Cruz reportedly found that individuals closely associated with Drake were seen in XXXTentacion's neighborhood before his death, allegedly threatening him.
And I believe the brief states, Dr. Cruz's research revealed photos of Mr. Graham throwing the same gang signs as Allen, and Allen is that accomplice who I mentioned before who testified against his co-defendants. But Cruz also revealed that people who knew Drake were allegedly seen in XXXTentacion's neighborhood threatening him before he died.
To make matters worse, social media posts surfaced showing these same alleged associates of Drake in X's area just prior to the Red Drum. If true, this adds a chilling dimension to the story, one where Drake's ties to these individuals go beyond just hearsay. This story just keeps getting crazier, right? But here's the real question. If Drake truly had nothing to do with XXXTentacion's death, why is his name constantly coming up in these legal filings? And with all the alleged gang ties and cryptic lyrics, could there be more to Drake's involvement than he's letting on? Lastly, do you think this case will finally uncover the truth about Hollywood's hidden connections? Or is it just another unsolved mystery waiting to fade away? Drop your thoughts in the comments down below. I'm dying to hear what y'all think about this messy situation. And while you're at it, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe for all the latest updates on the wildest stories in the industry. Oh, and you've got to check out our next video on Drake's lawsuit against Universal Media Group and how it's all tied to the Kendrick Lamar beef. You won't want to miss it.